Hello, this is Robert Guillaume. Thank you for joining me on Your Money, Manage It. I will be discussing principles that will empower you to manage your finances made easy. Thank you for joining me. We've been discussing in the previous episode how to avoid the college debt trap. We will continue for the next couple of episodes to cover that subject. Today we're taking a little different spin on that subject, but I believe it's information that is worth sharing. So we'll be covering some uniqueness to higher education in the United States today. Higher education in the United States has changed. It's changed its format and its direction. The rigors that once reflected the effort it took to receive a degree from a college or a university in the United States has greatly been weakened in order to satisfy the expectations of our American society. Bachelor's degrees are a dime a dozen. They are similar to our U.S. dollars today. Our nation simply prints millions of worthless dollars that have only the value of what they're worth in an exchange. Bachelor's degrees are handed out by colleges and universities today by the millions every year, and they're only as valuable as some entity wishes to acknowledge that value. Now, factual data, and anyone can look this up, indicates that IQ levels are dropping worldwide. The average IQ has always been rated as somewhere between 90 and 100. Currently, the average IQ in the United States is 98. However, in the short term, this is expected to drop to 90 or below. Now, in order to meet lowering intellectual status, colleges and universities are also dropping their standards, and they're doing so to satisfy expectations of society. Today, any student can attend a college or a university. What once were institutions of high esteem with a purpose of higher education are simply educational mills cranking out bachelor's degrees. Many colleges and universities have lowered or even eradicated admission standards. I know universities that have dropped looking at ACT or SAT test scores. They have become non-issues for admissions to many colleges. Since college entrance has become so much of an open door, bachelor's degrees are handed out annually by the millions, then the value of a college education simply has diminished. Anyone can get a degree. There are even degrees, as I mentioned in a previous episode, in the fields of family studies. And I know an individual with a PhD in that field. Our colleges and universities once were held in the highest esteem as institutions of higher learning. Today, they've become institutions of big business. Historically, colleges and universities in this country were established as I mentioned, higher institutions of higher learning, and were established years and years ago. Worldwide, universities have been established centuries ago. Oxford was established in 1096, the University of Paris in 1150, the University of Cambridge in 1209, Heidelberg University, 1386, Harvard in this country, 1636 was its founding date, William and Mary, 1693, and Yale in 1701. Originally, Harvard instituted studies in the fields of medical science, theology, law. In 1862, they added arts and sciences, and in 1867, dental school. Originally, Yale offered studies of arts and sciences, medical studies, a school of divinity, a school of law. Now, another interesting fact worldwide, if you do the research, look at out of the one where the 100 top academic universities in the world are. Well, interesting enough, out of those 100 top academic universities, the United States does lead the list. The United States has actually 27 of the top academic universities in the world, followed by, and I'll go quickly, 17 in the United Kingdom. Australia, China, South Korea, Hong Kong, Japan, and France all have 4, 5, 6 top universities. Then Switzerland, Canada, Germany, all with 3. Singapore, the Netherlands, Switzerland have 2. Argentina has a university rated in the top 100, as well as the following: Malaysia, Russia, Belgium, Taiwan, Denmark, the Netherlands, New Zealand, Sweden, and Ireland all have a university in the top 100 universities academically in the world. Now, note of interest, not one is found in the Middle East or India or in South America or Central America, and not one is found in the entire continent of Africa. Now, I know historically some may say, well, that was because of colonization by European countries or what have you, but that's not necessarily the case because European colonization did not really occur until the 1800s. And we have noted major universities have gone back centuries and centuries before that. So data indicates that the U.S. needs to keep its status by having top-rated academic universities in the world's rating. If our nation caves into the demands of a society that seeks to weaken standards by dropping admission standards or by lowering the esteem of what a bachelor's degree or a college education actually is worth, our standard, our position in the world of higher education may be lost. And higher education, ladies and gentlemen, today has become, as I mentioned earlier, big business. When I said earlier that higher education has changed, it has changed because of its nature of becoming a big business. Dropping or lowering standards simply means that more students will enroll. They'll gain more customers. More students means more money. It's simple. Why do colleges and universities in the U.S. spend huge budgets on multimedia advertising? As I had mentioned in a previous episode, because it is no different than any other business. They are competing for customers. And once a potential student completes the FAFSA form for student aid and receives that student loan, the college will get its money, and for the student who could be stuck with enormous debt, just sorry for your bad luck. So realize that attending college in the United States today has become big business. A previous governor in the state of Indiana stated at a governor's convention in Texas, I quote, "There is no reason why every child in the U.S. cannot attend college," end quote. Now, one only has to reflect on this statement to see, I would say, its fallacy. That means that any student, even a student with an IQ of, let's say, 70, should be able, under those principles, to go to college. Now, I don't know about you as an audience, but I would prefer not to have a doctor with an IQ of 70 doing my surgery. Sadly, this is extreme thinking. But it's the type of thinking that is influencing our colleges and universities today in the United States. And we need to once again bring back the possible, just the respectability of what a higher education degree means. That it's not just a piece of paper that is one amongst millions. If you look at the television or other multimedia resources, there's one ad after another on where to go to college and how you can receive a degree by just going online and sitting at home. And another aspect that people tend to reflect with college is that, quote, college is fun. Ladies and gentlemen, just to share a note of a personal note, I hold multiple college degrees. I played major college football. I was a member of a fraternity. I graduated on the dean's list. And yes, I had a great time in college. But I graduated with no college debt. I worked summers. I worked in college. I had no financial assistance from my parents at all. They weren't capable of that. In my very last semester, I took out what was called, at that time, a National Defense College loan to help me finish my last semester of college. That was easily repaid, and within just a couple short years, it was erased. My oldest son attended Purdue University and graduated as an electrical engineer. And he, too, had a great time in college. And he, too, graduated free of college debt. He had no parental financial assistance at that time. He did it himself. However, he applied himself. He studied extremely hard in the field of electrical engineering, and he was accepted into a co-op program at Purdue, which gave him a tremendous work experience and then paid the finances to complete the rest of his education. I believe this program is no longer in existence. The big business of college education today, coupled with the high cost of student loan repayment debt and the fact that a degree is being cranked out every year to millions of Americans, should make you think of every option to avoid the huge student loan debt that might face you. We will be discussing options to avoid that college loan debt trap in the future, and we will be bringing on a guest in a future episode who works specifically with families in planning to meet that college finance situation. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for joining me on Your Money, Manage It. My book, How to Manage Personal Finances Made Easy and Avoiding the College Debt Trap, can be found on Amazon and the Bookshop. I will also include the link in the description of this episode. Find me on Facebook, LinkedIn, and Instagram, and join me again next Monday. Thank you for listening.